Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this call today. Hope we've had a fabulous weekend and we've had some great successes. For those of you over in Australia and all the parts of through Asia and Europe and America and Canada, welcome. Throw in the chat where you're from. I'd love to see where everybody's calling from and is. If you're watching the replay, feel free also to throw in the chat the comments what country you're coming in from. I love seeing the different continents and different peeps from around the world sharing this cool work too. So sharing this work with you so you can hopefully have some wins, be able to take some action and even understand more about how your consciousness works. All three consciousness, your conscious, your unconscious, and your superconscious, which is your powerful innate self, your true intuition, which I just love about this work is actually working with the superconscious to create. So last week I was on and enough to go down to 3 hours drive down the road to a town called Westport and do a live event. And it was awesome. Absolutely love sharing this work, especially into a new town, a new creativity, because it really has a whole new different aspect when you're going into new territory to really push those limiting beliefs as to the fear of failure and will I be rejected and will it go well and all those doubts that come up on that very creation of a live event in a different town. So just think about what you've been doing the last week. You know, has there been something new that you've taken action on for the first time? And did you notice that resistance? Did you notice the resistance that holds you back? You know, the fear of failure or being judged or procrastination, not being able to take the action for a particular reason, worrying about what the family may think. All that stuff that really is what we call self-sabotage. So self-sabotage, what does it really mean? Well, when we have a choice or a decision, our conscious thinking part of our brain wants us to go do something, have some fun, we'll kind of make that decision and start looking into it. But then we actually might make the decision to take action on this new thing. Let's just use the live event at the local town as an example. Taking the action, booking it in, getting all the event organized, everything that we need for the event organized. And it's generally about 4 to 6 weeks out when I book my events. So when I book it, obviously everything's pretty okay for the first couple of weeks. I'm taking action, getting things organized, paper, car, travel, all that sort of stuff. But then as you get closer to the event, you start to notice some resistance. Now, I only had a tiny little bit. I was able to do my own recode and remove it, which was great. But if I was to rewind that right back to my very first event, that was completely different. Lots of resistance. So I want you to think something about you would love to create. The conscious thinks it's going to be fun, but you can't take the action on it because of there's too much resistance. What we call self-sabotage. Now, the unconscious, which is all about feeling, it'll throw this resistance into your field to pull you back for two reasons. One, because it thinks it wants to keep you safe. That how does it know you won't die or get hurt by doing this new thing? And secondly, to keep you in belonging, that you belong in the world, so you don't experience rejection or pain that makes it feel uncomfortable. Because your unconscious is a very powerful part of you. It is all about survival and feelings. It's two main attributes, keeping things the same, but it's also about longevity of life as an end result. I just want to live for a long period of time. The conscious wants you to have a quality. The superconscious wants to give you all the information to have a great life or great whatever you choose. So the self-sabotage is kind of there, you would say, as annoyance to stop you taking the action because it gets in the way. But when you can start being a thinker of your thoughts and actually noticing what's in the way, then you're able to recognize what it's all about. And the real hard thing about the mental health system is the way it deals with it is talking about the past or bringing that up and talking about all the emotions and feelings, which just gives that more energy. It's like, yeah, I know I'm broken. Yeah, I know I've got a problem. Let's talk about it. It doesn't make sense. Because the old identity, the unconscious in itself, doesn't want to experience those feelings. Now, you can very well say, well, we can talk about it to shift some beliefs, and that certainly does help. But then you go to take the action a month down the track, and then it still comes up again. So we really must learn to take the emotions and feelings off these events that the unconscious is using to stop us taking action, which we call self-sabotage. And I can use emotions and feelings like anxiety to try and keep you from getting into that environment, because you know there's going to be, well, the unconscious believes it's going to be pain. So it's trying to avoid that situation. Anxiety, fear of the future. It could give you some depression to try and pull you back. Oh, I'm not going out. I feel depressed. I feel sad. I don't like that option. So it's going to hold you in that space so you don't go out and experience rejection or any other past emotion and feeling in the memory that it's trying to avoid. Now, at the beautiful event I did last week, one of the ladies, Mary, jumped out of the crowd, and I did a full superconscious recode with her. Now, her choice was just to have a life she loved in any aspect. And she had a lot of resistance and a lot of blocks, a lot of judgment, and a lot of past stuff that was really holding her down. Now, it wasn't until after the event that she was walking around with a big smile on her face, and we were talking about while she was walking around. And it was only that morning that she went to the doctors to look at what she can do about her knee. A lot of her body had lots of pain, but that particular case was about her knee. It'll be surgery, or what can I do because it's in lots of pain. Then after we did the recode and removed the emotions and feelings off the memories, then her knee became right. It just was fine. So she was walking around, I guess, to celebrate this new self, which was really cool. And that's such a beautiful thing. That why was the knee creating that pain? What was it trying to stop her from doing? What pattern was it trying to keep the same? And that's just an example of what the unconscious can do to your body as health to stop you taking action on a specific thing. And I've been through that process myself with different health issues in my body. And once I find out the emotional feeling that it's trying to avoid and clear it, the pain dissipates very quickly, which is awesome. So yes, we do have a golden key in this work. We can actually remove all the emotions and feelings the unconscious is throwing us, which is creating self-sabotage. Overthinking, for example, overthinking the whole thing is not taking action. If you're an overthinker like I used to be, then you're simply thinking too much, and then because you're thinking too much, you're not taking the action on what you want. What about the needing to know, controlling issues? I need to know the outcome. I have to know what's going on. I need to control the whole situation so I know that it's going to be perfect, that it's going to be good, rather than just allowing it to be and having fun and taking action and creating the desired reality. There's also, the victim mentality, poor me, poor me. Because when we get into our victim mentality and people with being poor me, we get attention from others, which soothes that unconscious part personality of poor me or victim mentality. We get the attention from others. So if we were to stop doing victim mentality, would we still get the attention? If I survived that situation, the unconscious is going to keep repeating it. But what if I was to stop and do some processes and stop? What if those people didn't notice me anymore and would comfort me and feel sorry for me? And all of that, yet again, is dysfunctional because it's not focusing on the creation. It's being in self-sabotage, being stuck. So just have a think about all that with you. Whereabouts are you experiencing this stuff, this resistance, this self-sabotage that's stopping you take the actions? Now, it can be on one of these four here. We've got our 4 orientational, which is the 4 we do in this work to clear resistance to. And number 1 is choosing a life I love. What does that mean to you? Where are you? What are you doing? What is that like, just living a life you love? Noticing you're able to react and have an understanding of how you choose to take action in your future self. React and create. And if you're not living a life you love because you can't take the action, what is that self-sabotaging that's getting in the way? What about health and vitality? If you don't have that whole health and vitality yet, what's stopping you from having it? What's stopping you from doing the exercise? Or whatever it may be in the sense of that, the yoga, the Zumba, biking, running, dancing, swimming. What's stopping you taking the exercise? What's stopping you from having less junk food and just eating more fruit and vegetables, more less processed? What's stopping you? Choosing my true nature and purpose. There's a big one, because with our true nature and purpose, we want to actually follow our Dharma, why we're here. And everybody has that beautiful thing, that one thing they'd love to do on the planet, which is their end choice. And they just want to learn it and share it with the world. But if, as that little kid, if it's ever tried to create that and do that and got ridiculed for it, the feeling of that is not good. The unconscious remembers that. So to avoid that future self, to recreate that, which will stop us doing our true nature and purpose. You know, and for me, from my example, always wanting to be a teacher or a coach my whole life, I avoided it all because I didn't want to get rejected. I didn't want to get judged by other people because I had that massive sabotaging belief of don't belong. So my self-sabotage was just a procrastination and avoiding anything that would put me in a situation of being rejected or being massively judged. Crazy as. And here I am last week doing a live event where if I'm going to get judged by anybody, it's all the people in that room. It's all the ones watching my Facebook, my social media posts and videos, getting judged. And I don't mind it all now. I have pretty much zero, maybe a little 0.5 of resistance to that, where I used to be 100%. It was pretty full on. So true nature and purpose, we all have that beautiful choice we can go out and create. You must have confidence to take those steps to find what that is. And if you know what it is, to take those steps to create more of it, to buy a book and read about it, to Google it and search and find others that are in that industry and go and learn about it so you can be around the right positive people. Because once we have that new habit for 4 to 6 weeks and we enjoy it, the conscious is having fun, the unconscious is feeling pretty good, and you're pushing through all that self-sabotage or doing the process that we do in this work, once you've been doing that for 4 to 6 weeks, the unconscious knows it to be safe, or starting to feel safe. So therefore, it will have less resistance. And that's the same with all our creations, all our habits we've done our whole life. What about the predominant creative force in your life? That's taking action just because you love it and for no other reason. Just because I love it. Just because I love it from my heart, I'm going to take action and do it. And that's also been the predominant force, the action taker, being courageous, stepping out and being judged and taking the risk of being rejected or being looked upon. Just taking the actions to notice that and just pushing through it and not getting triggered. Being committed, having a lenses or a list of everything, the actions you need to take, and taking those actions regardless every single day. Being committed to your end result, your choice. So just looking at those 4, where do you think in your life you could do with some help in one of those areas? And in this work, as you know, we have lots of processes that removes the resistance or the problems that are in your way to having that. And it's a very cool process. And certainly with the coaches that come through the certification, we actually remove all that resistance in the first few weeks of the coaching program. So I know that coaches can be the best they can be and keep going through the certification. It's a 10-week program. You get fully certified in this work. And it's really cool watching the coaches go through the same and similar resistance that I did when I went through my last modality and got certified. And here I am now being that teacher, teaching coaches, which I'm so honored and so proud for. I just love it. I love seeing the coaches being able to orientate into creating a life they love and serving others however they see that to be. Helping others, guiding others, whatever word you choose to use around that. But just helping others, and that's what I truly believe about your gift, your true purpose, is just to get the best you can at it, become the best, just love it, best you can at it, and then go share it with others. Go share it with the world so that you can make a difference and then they can make a difference. So where in your life are you not showing up because there's too much self-sabotage? I kind of think in a lot of my life, it was probably the first 45 odd years, I had more sabotage than I did wins because of everything that was going on. I had some great successes and lots of cool friends and lots of cool, awesome experiences and memories, but it still was like a rocking chair. Having success and then not, having success and not. Because as I was going for the success and holding it and then wanting to create another one, there was new resistance, new self-sabotaging beliefs, emotions, and feelings. So that's what I want to talk to you today about, your self-sabotaging. It's really like that, but I'd really like to do that, but what is that but? I'd really like to have that business, but what is that but? What is that resistance that's stopping you from taking the action to have whatever it is you want just because you love it? And if you pick out it's just because you love it, whether it's sport or music or art or family or relationship or whatever it is, being a coach, for example, if you love it, well, no, because when you're stepping into it and wanting it, it'll just naturally feel good. That's when we know it's a true choice or a choice that's going to serve you. And if you've never done it before, it's 100% normal for you to experience self-sabotage because your unconscious doesn't know if it's going to be safe having that. So that's when it comes down to safety. And the other one, of course, is if you've never done that before, will the unconscious experience anything that'll make it feel like it doesn't belong? Which is its two main things I mentioned earlier in the call, if you've jumped on here since, is belonging and safety. And you ever think about that? As a child growing up, you had to have a sense of belonging because you couldn't do much for yourself in the first 5 years. Mum and dad had to do everything for you. So whatever you received from them as comfort and male and feminine energies would give you your belonging in the world. If you were told certain things, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, then you would grow up in the world belonging, thinking that you don't need that for survival, or you can't have that, or that's just not who you are. And that's all the resistance we take on. All the self-sabotage, especially in the first 7 years of a child, is the most important. You'll notice all the traumatic experiences, or the painful, or whatever it may be in the first 7 years we go through, that's when we put up the most resistance. That's when we experience a lot of self-sabotage later in life. But not in this work. This work here is so beautiful because we can have powerful processes to remove that self-sabotage out of your way. If you'd like to know more about that, reach out, send me an email or DM me. We can have a chat about it on a connection call and share with you how it all works more in depth. Or if you want to, you can go down through the feed on this page. If you go right down through the last few months, beginning of the year, you'll see some good processes and good content on there of how to have some wins. Apart from that, also have a look at my YouTube channel. There's some free processes and cool stuff on there as well. But if you'd like to just pack your stuff and make that decision to have the life you love now, or health and vitality, whatever it is, just reach out. We can have that connection call one-on-one. It's free. And I can share with you how powerful this work really is. So I want you to think about, do you really want to have that life that you love and everything around that? The health, the true purpose, the family, the friends, the relationships, being calm and not getting triggered anymore. Do you really want that? It's a choice and you get to choose it. And that choice is entirely up to you. With all my clients, it's whatever they choose. I totally respect because it's their choice. So are you ready to make a choice to step out and come and do some of this work where you can have more of what you want and less of what you don't want? Because I know this work's changed my life, and I promise you, if you do the work, you'll never need anything else. You'll be out there flowing and creating, and self-sabotage will be a thing of the past. And as you're going up the steps and building new things and bigger things in your life, sure, you will notice it, but you'll have the tools to remove it so it's no longer there. and that it all becomes wisdom. And I believe, that the beautiful world that we live in, and from the creation of all things, is that we were given these tools. It's just a lot of the stuff's been forgotten over the centuries. Because I'm sure creation itself wants us to have a great life. Because we see it in people. And I know what that's like to have both sides. So if you'd like to come and do some of this work, reach out to me. I'd love to have you. I'd love to work with you and even explain to you how it works and show you a little process. If you're experiencing from any sort of anxiety and it's just too much, give me a call. We can remove it in 7 minutes so you'll no longer have it. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really powerful. Because you don't have to put up with anxiety. You don't have to. You're choosing it because you've got too much loading on those past memories, and it's causing the pain. It's causing the resistance of not wanting to go there. We can clear that. That's the good news. So thanks so much for being on this call. I hope you got something out of it and you're able to write down a list of all the things you want to create just because you love it, have some fun, and then back that down, break it all down with some actions you're going to take so you can start working towards it. And then notice yourself, the resistance as it pops up, so you can be aware of it. And the easiest way to do that is just to close your eyes and ask your unconscious, what's in the way of me having that true end choice, that desired reality? And it will always tell you, because it is you. It just needs you to close your eyes, shut down the conscious part of the brain so it can focus on exactly what you're talking about. So thank you so much. Love you heaps. Have a great week. Feel free to put your wins into the group. If I can be of any assistance, just reach out. Thank you.